Throughout the 80s and early 90s, there was the video boom. If you couldn't compete with the big Hollywood blockbusters, then you settled for a smaller budget, cut down on your production value, and made a cheap imitation to fill the video shelves. Today, the term direct-to-video is synonymous with inferior film. If it couldn't find its way to theaters, then it must be pretty bad. We usually see this with direct-to-video sequels, which are usually made to cash in on a big hit. But back then, there was a big market for direct-to-video entertainment. People who didn't generally go to the theaters found their thrills at the local video store, and occasionally you might find a little-known gem amongst all the video duds. However, the majority of direct-to-video movies had little appeal when compared to their big-budget counterparts. Once in a while, one of these videos would build an audience, and in order to keep up sales, video rental owners would request that sequels be made so they could keep up with demand. That's right, the future of a direct-to-video franchise depended more on the demand of the video store owner than the fans. That would explain why the Puppet Master series has so many damn sequels, almost as many as the Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th franchises. They even have an unofficial crossover film with another Full Moon franchise, Demonic Toys, which I guess Full Moon had no involvement with. Weird. Puppet Master is the poor man's version of Child's Play, and as the title suggests, it gives us killer puppets. It's about a bunch of snobby, pretentious psychics who all gather at the Bodega Bay Inn so they can learn the secrets of Andre Toulon, a magician who learned how to infuse life into inanimate objects in the 1920s. None of them are truly likable, and when they start to have visions, they always act like they're achieving orgasm.
God, it's horrible what he did to her.
Are you okay?
Overacting at its cheesiest. Upon arrival, they find that the one who called them together, Neil Gallagher, has killed himself, and now they're all trying to link his death to Toulon's, who also killed himself in 1939. The movie stars Paul Le Mat, who's probably best known for his role as John Milliner in George Lucas's American Graffiti. He's the most decent character in the film, but aside from his high moral standards, he's as bland as the rest of the cast.
I was hoping we could do a little rearranging of the walls ourselves.
I don't think that'd be a good idea, Dana.
There's this creepy caretaker who doesn't take to the psychics too well. Can't imagine why.
Please don't bring up any of this around Mrs. Gallagher. She's upset enough as it is.
She sounds like a cartoon character, and she pretty much dies for no reason. There's a psychic named Dana, who they call the White Witch. She carries around a comatose dog in a suitcase. And another psychic who can piece together the history of any inanimate object, which gives her an excuse to play with herself in a bathtub.
They did it right in this bed.
Who?
Clark Gable and Carol Lombard.
Yeah, I'm sure those two would be honored to have their names mentioned in this film. It has its share of boobage and some really corny dialogue.
The Queen of England came here once. I took care of her myself.
Not to mention, I think it advocates woman abuse. But the main attraction here, obviously, are the puppets. There's Blade, Jester, Tunneler, Leechwoman, and Pinhead. One of my favorites, characterized by his tiny head contrasted with his gargantuan body. These were all of Toulon's creations, and interestingly, these are the ones that show up in just about every future installment. What I find strange is that there's never any big reveal of the puppets. During the first half of the film, we get these low-angle POV shots, but when they reveal Blade, it's very casual, as if we're just supposed to accept that these are living, breathing creatures. Aside from that, there's very little puppet action. As a matter of fact, the puppets almost take back seat to the story. Don't get me wrong, the designs of the puppets are all very surreal and creepy. Blade himself looks like he could be Darth Vader's sadistic twin from hell. And when we see them move, it's some of the most fluent stop motion I've ever seen. Most of the kills happen off-screen, although we do get to see the end results during the film's climax, where we find that Gallagher used Toulon's secrets to bring himself back to life. He abuses Jester, angering the other puppets and causing them to rebel against him. This is the highlight of the movie, where all 5 puppets mercilessly trap him in an elevator and take turns killing him. The film has its merits, but it drags considerably, and by today's standards, just doesn't hold up very well. This is a movie that could definitely use a modern remake, and in an industry that thrives on reboots, I'd be surprised if it didn't get one soon. It also has a pretty loyal fan base. The fact that there exists a Blade plush doll is proof of that. It's got some decent puppet action and a recognizable score, so this might be one to check out. I give it 2 pokers to the head.
What the hell are you looking at?